Leave me alone. Just leave me
Escúchame,
alone.
estamos hablando.
You don't shut up. You don't shut up. You've literally been talking for 10 minutes. I'm not even listening to you. I'm done.
So let me get this right. You don't listen to your husband when he's trying to communicate with you. You insult him. You yell at him. You mock him. You want nothing to do with him. But he's the immature one. He's the one that needs to change if this relationship's going to work. Did I get that right?
I don't want to hear it anymore. I don't care. Call a priest, call your mother, call your grandpa. I don't care. I don't want to hear it anymore. I'm done.
Here we go again. Danielle being Danielle, overreacting and causing a scene out of literally nothing. But before we get to all the drama, when we left the pair last week, Yohan was trying to humiliate Danielle in front of her ex. And honestly, after all the humiliation she put him through, it felt like justice was being served. But despite that, when we join them at the start of this episode, it seems like Yohan regrets how he behaved.
Yo amo a Daniel muchísimo, entonces hoy yo decidí, quiero disculparme y quiero hablar un poquito más con él.
Yohan is once again proving that despite his behaviour in the last episode, he's the mature one in this relationship. He has all the reasons in the world not to want to meet Talon, to not be happy with Danielle. Yet here he is, saying how much he loves his wife and seeking to apologise and try and make things right with her ex. Would Danielle do the same for him? Probably not, but regardless, he grabs Talon's number and asks to meet him at the basketball court.
I'm really glad to have this opportunity to come out here and play ball and really just get to know Yohan more on a personal level. Just to show him what kind of person I am, too.
Look, Talon seems like a nice guy, but I don't really understand why he's so keen to want to get to know Yohan. Like, he doesn't live in the DR, he never really sees Danielle, and in his own words, they only keep in contact every once in a while. So why on earth is it so important to him? Did Danielle push this idea? It seems like Yohan is wondering the same thing, because after his apology for making things awkward last night,
Te pido disculpas, sí.
After that somewhat hilariously awkward apology, which Talon takes in good spirits, Yohan then goes on to ask a very interesting question. A question that suggests he now realises there's a lot that he can learn about his wife from her ex-boyfriend.
Danielle en su relación, ella controlaba mucho, le gustaba controlar la relación.
See, she's not a submissive woman. She likes to have control.
Talon confirms what Yohan is fearing. This is a personality trait. This is who she is. Danielle likes to be the one with the power, the one who calls the shots. And the fact that Talon makes an effort to say she's not a submissive woman makes me curious if Talon used those precise words on purpose, knowing that Yohan is a traditional guy who might want Danielle to be that type of woman.
En mi experiencia aquí en la República Dominicana, el hombre tiene su rol de hombre, la mujer tiene su rol de mujer. Danielle es una persona que le gusta hacer lo que ella quiera.
Yohan explains to Talon that he prefers when both he and Danielle have equal control in the relationship. Now, obviously, a balanced relationship is the right answer, but Yohan is struggling with the way that Danielle always wants things done her way. These core personality clashes would have been something they could have figured out if they just dated for longer rather than getting married so quickly.
Que se haga lo que ella diga. Yo lo veo una falta de respeto a la relación. Tú vas a hacer lo que tú quieras. Entonces, ¿para qué te casaste?
Danielle got married because she wants to boss you around, Yohan. She has absolutely zero interest in any sort of balance in this relationship. She went for a younger man from a poorer country who doesn't speak English because she wanted to feel superior, feel better about herself. The uncomfortable truth is that she wanted to control her husband from the high horse that she sits on. But as we're starting to see more and more, that's not something that Yohan's okay with, especially when we're talking about forever.
I understand where you're coming from, but I also have known Danielle long enough to know that she isn't going to change for anyone. Relationships bring sacrifices on both ends.
That's true. Relationships do bring sacrifices on both ends. But what exactly has Danielle sacrificed? Now, ordinarily you might say she gave up her job, her life, her friends in NYC. But she wanted to do that. That wasn't a sacrifice. She couldn't wait to get out of New York. She couldn't wait to start afresh. But what about Yohan? Yohan's started a new business because of Danielle's constant reminders he needs to earn more money. He's seemingly given up on his dream to move to America because of her. He's given up on certain values he believes in because of her. And let's be honest, he's also given up his dignity because of her.
Yo he hecho demasiado cambio en esta relación desde que empezamos. Y compromiso, ya estoy cansado.
Yohan is just now realising what it means to be shackled to Danielle for his entire life, and it isn't looking too pretty. The guy's clearly exhausted from all the fighting between them, and he's regretting allowing Danielle to always get her way, because now she just expects it. Now, this leads us on to the next day, and we join Yohan and Danielle doing what Danielle loves best, lying on the beach and arguing.
So no quiero esta cosa cada vez. Maybe en una mes, otra amigos está aquí. No quiero misma cosa, porque soy cansada.
Danielle is pretty much saying, I told you so about Talon, after Yohan admitted that he was actually a nice guy and things do indeed seem platonic between Danielle and Talon. And while she explains that she doesn't want to keep repeating this fight every time one of her friends visits, Danielle offers no apology of her own for the way that she's been behaving this past week. The way that she's been completely disregarding Yohan's feelings as if they're worth nothing.
Primero, yo necesito un apology.
¿A qué?
Lo siento.
¿Tú dices lo siento?
Danielle's blown away by the fact that Yohan is asking her to apologise. For what, she says? What did I do, she says? She's literally the poster child for narcissism at this point. Someone who literally cannot see any fault in themselves. I don't think Danielle's pretending here. She genuinely thinks she's done nothing wrong. She feels like she's the victim in all of this.
Yo quiero salir con mi amigo, lo quiero ver.
Una es pareja tuya.
Eso es respeto. Tú no respetas.
That's correct, Yohan. Danielle doesn't respect you. And Danielle, in classic Danielle fashion, trivialises and ignores Yohan's concern. She refuses to acknowledge that she showed any disrespect. And in fact, far from it, she actually manages to twist this back onto Yohan. The problem isn't with me, it's with you, she says.
El problema es muchas veces cuando peleando y tú piensas tú no tienes poder, tú haces cosas mucho malo.
Once again, Danielle isn't acknowledging a huge part of this equation, which is that she's the one intentionally making Yohan feel emasculated and powerless in order to gain control and have the upper hand in this relationship. So yeah, when he acts out, it's actually pretty understandable because she either deserves it or she's the reason it's happening in the first place. You can't expect to keep poking a bear, then get angry when it bites you back.
Quiero un esposo que haga lo que tú quieras. Tú quieres un esposo.
Casarse no es un prison.
No,
tú
no,
puedes hacer
tú no
que
entiendes.
tú quieres.
Tú no entiendes.
Danielle is straight up gaslighting Yohan here. She's acting like he's blowing things out of proportion when he's just expressing how he feels. She says they're not in a prison, they can do whatever they want. But that's not entirely true, is it? We know for a fact that Danielle doesn't stop until she gets what she wants. She's admitted as much in the past.
I'm always going to get what I want. It's not even a question.
Cuando yo dice una cosa, tú necesitas creer. Y final.
Y ya. Aunque no me guste, así es como tú dices.
But I thought Yohan could do what he wanted though. So which is it, Danielle? She's immediately shown how hypocritical she is. She demands that Yohan takes her word as gospel. If she says something, then it goes. That's it. Yohan has to believe it. That despite the fact she's the one that's broken his trust. She's the one that lied to him about applying for his visa. Have we seen Yohan lie to her about anything so far? No, nothing. He's been brutally honest. Yet he's the one that should apparently change for her.
Cosas no te gusta, es tu problema. This is who I am.
Que tú no puedes cambiar.
No, y no quiero.
Entonces yo sí puedo cambiar. Yo entonces no quiero cambiar.
All of us have the ability to change and should always be open to changing. Otherwise, you're going to end up like a cranky old Karen that hates everything and everyone, which is what Danielle is becoming. She's deemed herself perfect and she's got no desire to change for anyone, even though someone she supposedly loves is just asking for a bit of give and take in their marriage. But what's really funny about this whole conversation is they're both saying the exact same thing. They're both tired and they both want to stop fighting and stop feeling disrespected. Both have the same wishes, but the thing is, while Yohan's expressing that he feels she's constantly putting her friends before him, Danielle decides that she just doesn't want to talk about this anymore. That's it, and what Danielle wants, Danielle gets. Conversation over.
Leave me alone. Just leave me
Escúchame,
alone.
estamos hablando.
You don't shut up. You don't shut up. You've literally been talking for 10 minutes. I'm not even listening to you. I'm done.
Sorry, who was talking to who about respect? Danielle's got to be right up there as one of the most disrespectful people we've ever had to endure on this show. And that's saying something. She has the audacity to ask for an apology and tell Yohan he's being disrespectful, and then 60 seconds later tells him to shut up when he's just trying to have a civilized conversation with her.
I don't want to hear it anymore. I don't care. Call a priest, call your mother, call your grandpa. I don't care. I don't want to hear it anymore. I'm done.
She's like a little kid having a tantrum. All Yohan said was he felt he wasn't ever her priority, and this is her reaction. She can't take any criticism, but she's happy to dish it out as much as she can. The problem is, now she's literally just told him that she doesn't care. If Yohan has any self-respect, it's time for him to walk away from this toxic marriage.
In this relationship, I'm making sure that I'm very clear about who I am and what I want, and you can either stand by me and be a part of my life, or you can find the nearest door.
The way she says "in this relationship," as though this is some sort of recent development of self-growth, goes against what Talon was saying earlier. This isn't the first relationship she's been controlling in. I'm just hoping Yohan can find the nearest door and get the heck out of there.